Hello, Overpower fans. This is COS, and I'm going to be talking to you today about my predictions for the top and bottom four characters in each of the power types: energy, combat, brute force, and intelligence, for the upcoming first regional event in Series 0 for the Overpower collectible card game that was just re-released by Lazarus Rising Games. So let's dive right in, and I'm going to lay out for you the least likely characters to be seen. And we're going to start off with Brute Force. The Brute Force least likely character to be seen in the Seattle Regional will be Angry Mob Industrial Age. I'm going to give you two reasons why Angry Mob Industrial Age is going to be the least seen characters, and they are right here. Boom. That's right. Angry Mob Industrial Age has poor unique specials, and for 2 more points, you get Angry Mob Modern Age. And if you really want to play Angry Mob for its generic specials, and you want to have good or better threat levels on your team, you play Angry Mob Middle Ages. So Angry Mob Industrial Age is going to be the least seen and represented strength character, or brute force, under this new iteration for the Seattle tournament. That is my prediction. Angry Mob for brute force, least likely to be seen for that skill. Least likely to be seen for intellect is going to be the Invisible Man. And here's why. The Invisible Man is a 17 threat, 6 high character, or max 6 is how we used to talk about it when we do max 6 tournaments. He does have some unique specials, but when you look at his specials in their venture value, you only see one special that has a venture value greater than 0. So when you're looking at how much venture a character brings to your team and how much team defense the character brings to your team, you want to have a character that can play your power cards. He can only play up to a 6 unless you get Run and Hide in play, in which case he can play intellect power cards, 1 threat to avoid attacks made against him only for the remainder of game. You have to actually get that in play. And these remainder of game cards, even though they're super powerful, they have the paperclip effect that gets pinned to that character. They're with that character for the rest of the game. Those cards are now being wiped out by a certain prize pack event that says each player has the right to choose one of their opponent's remainder of game cards that are in play and discard it. So your Korax, Danger Seeker, all attacks must be made against Korak until he's KO'd at -2. This Run and Hide, basically he can use all the way up to an 8 intellect power card to avoid any attack. Those would be gone, and then that player would get +3 to venture this turn. The 1 at a time, get a power card from the draw pile, review the card and place it in hand. That could get you an 8 power card if you're playing with 8s on your team, but it's burning a turn, an offensive action to do it. A 0 possible KO threat there can only be defended by a power card of a level 5 or greater. 5 may only be defended by a special card. Again, you didn't see it coming. He gets to play his attacks face down for the remainder of game, and they get to discard 2 cards from hand to reveal the attack. I just reveal open-handed, play open-handed for remainder of battle. I mean, these kind of cards with didn't see it coming and I'm in your house could play well with a 221B Baker Street team paired with a character I'm going to talk to you about soon that you're going to see a lot of. But I just don't think Invisible Man is up to it with regards to his defense or his venture capability. He's got a lot of unique cards. He'd be amazing in a Max 6 deck, but I just think he is going to be the least represented intellect character in the Seattle tournament. So there's Invisible Man for intelligence. And I know that there are some out there who are going to be sad to see this, but I'm throwing out Lancelot as the least likely to be played and seen character with fighting. And there's a reason for this. And again, that reason is I don't see at 18, even with Sword and Shield starting underneath him, I just don't see him being powerful enough to make a difference with all of the fighting abilities out there for combat. He is 18 points. If he was a 17-point character, and realize there are so few 17-point characters. If he was a 17-point character, I think he would see a lot of play. But as an 18-point character, even if he has Sword and Shield in play, and this is a 10, he can get Sword of Shield with Guinevere's Love. He can remove a hit. He gets to receive Sword and Shield. A 5, it can be used to defend if Sword and Shield's in play. And attack made and teammate is now made on Lancelot, who may defend. All follow attacks will be made on Lancelot are -2. If this Chivalrous Protector was a OPD and was for remainder of game, all follow-up attacks must be made against Lancelot for remainder of game until Lancelot is KO'd at -2 attack. That would be an entirely different ballgame. That would be very similar to Korax, Danger Seeker card. But again, 2 venture. This has the ability to impact venture if he's the target. 2 venture cards. The 10 conditional could be a 7, depends if Sword and Shield's in play. And then the half multi with For the Queen. I'm predicting Lancelot is the least represented combat character in Seattle. And finally, for energy, or in this case, it was really hard to find an energy character that didn't also have a dual grid, but I'm choosing Poseidon. And Poseidon has 3 good attacks, a 4, a 7, and a 6. He also has a great individual defense. He has a mill 7, and he has cannot play placed universe cards, which gives you venture value that turn, especially if they place a bunch of Teamworks and Allies down. But I just feel like for energy, at 19 points, I know he's a sum 0. He doesn't gain you any threats, and he doesn't lose you any threats, because 19 is the average character cost. I think there are better energy characters out there. I know he's got the dual grid with the 7 brute force, but I think you're going to see Poseidon as the least represented character. Now, there's possibility that we're going to see a Mildex out there, and between Poseidon and Carson of Venus and some others, that we're gonna be milling cards, and that's what people might go to. But I just don't think that Poseidon is going to be represented well, and I think that he is, for the energy characters, going to be the least represented energy character in Seattle. So that finishes up the bottom of the pack with regards to the number of times a character is going to be represented in Seattle. Let's talk about the top half. And we're going to start with strength. And here he is. This is 22 points. In order to have 22 threat on your team, you're going to have someone that is a 16 to counter him out, or some others that make up that between a 17 and an 18, whatever. But Hercules has what it takes to make it in the land of brute force. And I'll tell you why. First, he has massive attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great attacks. 9, 7, 6, 4. And on top of those great attacks, 9 combat, 1 Pudek, 7 that can be used to attack or defend. That's a full team defense of 7 or less. And it doesn't have the word avoid in it, so you don't have to worry about those kind of things. And then he has his own personal pure avoid, and opponent must discard 1 special or universe card in play with the text remainder of battle or remainder of game. Again, an amazing discard card to get rid of those lasting effects that can be so debilitating. I think of Korax, Danger Seeker, or some of the other cards out there that for remainder of game or remainder of battle. So if somebody has hidden behind the Cataclysm Fairy Protection, you can't attack them from remainder of battle, we can slay the Hydra, get that Fairy Protection out of the way, and then go after them with these giant attacks. Hercules, I believe, as far as brute force goes, is going to be the #1 represented brute force character in Seattle. Hercules is where it's at 22 points. Combat. My prediction for the #1 represented combat character is Zoro. 20 points. +1 on threat for your team. Again, he has some amazing attacks and defense. 4 attacks. 4 attacks, and one of those attacks, similar to Hercules, you see this, can double as a defense for the entire team. You see a theme here on why these characters are so powerful. They have amazing attack specials, quick strikes, stringing attacks, 2 additional combat attacks against the same character, with a KO possibility, a pure 7, the half multi that can combine with a universe card to attack or defend. So this means it can be combined with, for example, Training Ground, where you have 3 of those +4 universe cards down, and you can attack or defend at a level 9, which is fantastic. Or you can add this to a teamwork and use this as a teamwork bonus if you want to attack. The 7 that helps with venture, moving 1 non-ventured mission card to the completed mission. A 4, the Rapier. Zoro may look at the top 5 cards of the opponent's draw pile, choose 1 and discard to the dead pile. That's a way to sort and remove some of those nasty 1 per decks. I'm looking at you, Grim Reaper. And the Massacre Escape is not to be overlooked. I am thinking there's going to be some Bet 7 decks in Modern. There are some lockout possibilities in Modern and some Bet 7 ways to win Venture, especially with Baker Street and Watson. And the ability to move all the mission cards back except for 1 is huge with Master Escape. So Zoro, look at that. 5 attacks, Spectrum, and cumulative KO pressure, and team defense. That's why along with only being one bonus threat above the norm at 20 points. Zoro is going to be the most represented combat character at Seattle. And here we go. The most represented intelligence character, Sherlock Holmes. Why Sherlock, you say? Well, he is exactly 19 points, 0 threat penalty, and Sherlock Holmes has 2, not just 1, but 2 negates. 1 offensive and 1 defensive negate. The offensive negate, of course, is not 1 per deck. Defensive negate is 1 per deck. And 2 attacks, both of them great. A multi-4 can make an additional. Irene Adler, a 5. That's an offsuit. Both of those, the multi-power and the energy offsuit, with the bonus of revealing hand and playing open-handed, which when you're playing with Baker Street, which is probably the best plan with Sherlock Holmes, lets you actually pull a card from their hand for card advantage. You've got probability evaluation, the equivalent of Lady Deathstrike. Search the opponent's entire draw pile, choose 1 card and remove it from the game. See you later, Grim Reaper. And then, of course, he has his own pin that's not an OPD, but means that he and another target character may not attack for the remainder of battle. There's a lot of placing going on in Modern. This is a way to lock down up to 4 if they're playing Tars Tarkas, 4 cards of your opponent. And Sherlock's negates and Sherlock's probability evaluations are not attacks under the Modern rubric. Negate, and sort are not attacks, even though they say that icon that say that they're offensive actions, they are not attacks. So even with Battle of the Wits in play, 3 of his 5 other specials are playable. Sherlock Holmes, an 8, 2 negates, great power attacks and defensive positive venture outcomes, is going to be the #1 represented intelligence character in Seattle. Sherlock Holmes, mark my words, you're going to see a lot of Sherlock in decks. And finally, the #1 represented energy character in Seattle will be Zeus. Zeus costs so much. 23 points. 4 additional threat points higher than the median 19, but he is worth it. With that 8 energy, he also has the inherited ability to have a duplicate Thunderbolt in his hand or in play. Sure, he can't play Energy Teamworks, but it doesn't matter. You're going to pair him with somebody like, let's just say, the Wicked Witch. So you can have those Energy Teamworks as well. But a 9 energy attack, if successful, Zeus and Zeus teammates can't defend Zeus with special cards for the remainder of game. Shifts are not defense. Wicked Witch's Vertigo that Wicked Witch has that allows her to shift attacks between her and teammates. Those don't count as defense now anymore, and that can help. And Zeus, of course, has Hera. All numerical attacks made against Zeus are shifted to Hera. Hera's discarded after being taken 10 damage. That's not a defense. Have Hera in play, that's just a shift. Attack Zeus, goes to Hera, Hera takes 10. And Zeus's other cards aren't terrible. He's got 2 1 decks, one that gives you Venture, putting the opponent at -3, or pinning an opponent, making them not being able to attack. But if you see they have a bunch of allies placed, or they've got that mission that just put 3 allies on all their frontline characters, you can wipe 9 points of Venture and make them -3 to battle. Zeus's choice. A Jealous God, -2 to all attacks for a power grid that's higher than Zeus. So you're looking at probably combat or intelligence there. And play during battle, both players move all mission cards to the reserve. You got that right. All mission cards. This is a reset. All mission cards ventured this battle and now ventured from the reserve. He can reset the missions. So if your plan with a Zeus deck is to go for KOs and take a couple losses, set up your big strong attacks, KO a couple of characters, and then reset the missions, Zeus lets you do that. Zeus is my prediction for the number one most popular, as far as counts he shows up in decks, energy character at Seattle. Now, one of the things you may notice about the characters that are most popular, and I'll put them down here again, is each one of these characters has an 8. Why are 8s so important in Modern? And I'll tell you, 8 stat characters give you access to the highest power card available. A power card that your opponent's characters with 7 or less cannot defend absent a special card or a universe card that gives a bonus. When you get to the power pack, characters with 8s will give you card advantage, venture advantage, and KO advantage. You should have 8s on your team unless you have amazing deck building skills and synergy. But 8s make the grade as being most likely to be seen. And these 4 8s, Zeus for energy, Zoro for combat, Hercules for brute force, and Sherlock for intelligence, are my picks for the top 4 characters to be represented in Seattle. Let's see what happens. Post your picks in the comments. Thanks.